What is up, my Sunlight Samurais, you andronauts? So in this video, we're going to talk about a compound, a herb, that can help with premature ejaculation. So a while ago, I was struggling with being on the edge too much and was looking for a compound that could help with that. And I kind of accidentally stumbled across it. And I thought that maybe it was just my unique experience. I couldn't find any research on it, but so in 2023, a study came out to confirm my experience and other people were having the same experience as me. So you can kind of compare premature ejaculation with you're driving along the coastline on a beautiful road. It's calm. The weather is amazing. And this is when you don't have premature ejaculation. But when you do have premature ejaculation, it's like you're driving on the same road, but it's on a cliff and there's black ice. So any wrong move will send you right over the cliff. So this compound can actually help to take you off of the cliff, right? So if something goes wrong, you have more than enough time to correct your path and not blow your load. So this compound is quite amazing. Let me show you. So this compound is called Kratom. And before you click off, because Kratom is a toxin and blah, 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 hear me out. Check this video, it's going to be awesome. So here are some of the uses of Kratom, what it was used for, and some of the things that I've also experienced when using Kratom. I do enjoy using Kratom. I do not use it on a consistent basis just to make sure that I don't acclimate to it and remain sensitive. So some of the benefits that I really like is this anti-fatigue effect and also the increase in sexual desire, but also the analgesic effect, so that pain-killing effect. So usually, let's say we're going out, we're going to the beach, we're going to have some fun. I take some Kratom and we go out and everything is just more colorful, more enjoyable. Like I'm doing tricks. It's not like you're scared, you're just flowing. It's almost like you're automatically more in a flow state. And Kratom has been shown to connect brain areas to put you in a flow. And this is what makes it great for productivity, creativity, and physical activity. Because the better flow state your brain can be in, the better you can perform. So this is really why I like Kratom. It has a mood uplifting effect, helps with relaxation, and it's actually been used as a dewormer in certain countries. And so this is just a few of the benefits, and I experience most of them and really enjoy using Kratom, even though there might be certain side effects related to it, which we will discuss. That's not enough to really stop me from using this because I really do enjoy the effects of Kratom. Now, with that being said, obviously use it responsibly. So I want to talk about a specific study. This was the 2023 study that I talked about, Kratom on sexual function. And so this is the preface, right? So if you could look at the left pie graph, they asked people on Reddit that was regular Kratom users in the Kratom subreddit to participate in the study. There was about 160 people that actually participated over this 10-week period. And here is their consumption habits. So 1% consumed less than 1 gram. 33% consumed between 1 to 3 grams. 41% consumed between 3 and 5 grams. And 25% consumed more than 5 grams. So it would seem that the majority of people was between 1 and 5 grams. And then we also look at the doses they use per week, meaning like how many times per week, how many times per day, Okay. So 2% used it less than once weekly. 13% used it less than once daily, but at least once weekly. 17% used it once per day. And then 28% used it twice per day. And then 40% used it 3 times per day. Right? So if you look at people that were taking between 1 and 5 grams, they were most likely using it. It's a high probability that they were using it 2 to 3 times a day. So that dose could easily be 5 to 15 grams a day. With that being said, let's dive into the results and what they found. So here is on sexual function in general, what they found. So 20% had a negative effect from Kratom on sexual function. 38% had a positive effect and 42% had a neutral effect. So if you summarize that, almost 80% of people using, so basically 80% of people using Kratom either didn't get an effect or got a beneficial effect, right? Then on erectile function, 53% experienced a neutral effect, 24% experienced improvements in erections, and 23% experienced a decrease in erectile function. So that's almost like a 50-50 chance that you might get improvement or a detriment. but obviously that's like a 25%, right? So some people might get a benefit, some people might not get a benefit. And what they found really interesting was that the impairment in erectile function was not dose dependent. So it's not that the more you use, the worse it's going to get. At least this is what they found from this specific study. So let's look at erectile premature ejaculation, because this is the most interesting finding. And 66.6% of people experience the increased time to ejaculation. So her kratom helped against premature ejaculation in 66.6% of the participants that participated in this study. And then also this effect was most pronounced in people that ejaculated before 5 minutes. And so I was kind of like in that group. I was more so in the group where if you were to start banging like crazy, it's like, okay, I'm on the edge so fast. And you need to like pull out, otherwise you're going to explode. So for those people, that was kind of like the most helpful. That's what I mentioned. It's like you start pumping. It's like, okay, I feel I'm getting close. And then you can just slow down. You can change position and stuff like that. You're not going to explode. So it makes it so much more easy to control the ejaculation. It takes away that danger aspect from ejaculation and gives you more control over it. And so 51% of people got that improvement when they were under 5 minutes, versus if they were over 5 minutes, only 12.8% of people experienced an improvement. And then also following kratom use, patients reported lack of frustration with ejaculation prior to desire, 21% versus 61%. So just showing that people had a better experience with ejaculation when they had premature ejaculation. So you can see on the graph the significant improvement from pre to with kratom, how frequently they ejaculated before 5 minutes. It was like a 4x decrease in the ejaculation before 5 minutes. So it definitely helps give you more control over your ejaculation. And so let's talk about how it can help with premature ejaculation. The first one is an opioid agonist. Now, it's obviously not as strong as a drug, but opioid agonists are routinely recommended for premature ejaculation. That's one of the ways it can help. It lowers noradrenaline. So noradrenaline, it promotes ejaculation. It promotes sensitivity. So when you have too much noradrenaline, it can excessively promote ejaculation. So you're just like always on the verge. And so kratom activates the autoreceptor. So your body decreases the production of noradrenaline. And that's helped with bring in the control with ejaculation. It's an NMDA antagonist. And so when you have too much glutamate, you might associate glutamate with focus and memory, but when you have too much glutamate signaling, as in the cases of, for example, inflammation, that could also put you on edge. So it's an NMDA antagonist, and that's how it helps with premature ejaculation. And then lastly, it inhibits calcium channels. It's a calcium channel blocker. So there are other calcium channel blocker drugs like gabapentin that's also been used for premature ejaculation. So let's look at kratom on libido. And there was also like a 50-50 chance that you might get an increase or a decrease in libido. So 25% of people didn't get a libido change with kratom, whereas 38 got an impairment, and then 37% got the improvement. So again, like 50-50% chance that you might get an improvement or a decrease in libido. So try it out, see how you respond. If you don't like how you respond, just don't use it. Otherwise, like if you want to kill your libido, maybe try it. All right, so kratom on testosterone. So people might be thinking like, hey, kratom will tank my testosterone. There was one case study. I'll get to that in a second. So this study, where they surveyed the Reddit users, they found that only 3 respondents, which was 1.9%, reported a low testosterone following the use of kratom. So that means that most people using kratom didn't get a change or symptoms that made them concerned that they had low testosterone. So the chances of getting low T is very low, and it might be, again, in a dose-dependent response. Right? So the more kratom you're going to use, the more it's going to increase, the stronger it's going to activate the opioid receptor, increases prolactin, and that might lower your testosterone. So dose-dependent response there. So here was the study. There was just a case study. One guy that was using kratom, they didn't specify in the study how much he was using. So you could see on kratom, his prolactin was 24 and his testosterone was 8. So he was basically hypogonadal. And his LH was 6.8 and his FSH was 7.7. So he was not suppressed on a pituitary level, he was suppressed on a testicular level. And so after stopping kratom, his prolactin went down to 6. It's a very good range. And his testosterone almost doubled to 14. Now, 14 is not a good place to be. It's roughly in the 400s, right? So it's still not a good place to be. He can get much more improvement, probably just by improving his diet as well. So this is a case where he abused kratom, or he might just have been excessively sensitive to the opioid effects of kratom. He got high prolactin, low T, stopping, dropped his prolactin, and his T increased. And there was another study that I didn't include here, where they surveyed 19 kratom users, and they compared them to non-kratom users. And these kratom users, they used kratom for, on average, 2 years. And they found that there was no difference between the kratom users and the non-kratom users when it came to their testosterone. And the average dose was basically around 10 grams. So these guys, they were using roughly 10 grams of kratom for almost 10 years, and they didn't get a decrease in testosterone. So it's highly individual. I understand some people might get a decrease in testosterone when they use kratom, but it's not universal rule. All right, so if you want to experiment with kratom for premature ejaculation, I think it might be a good compound. It's one of the best compounds that I have found that actually helps with premature ejaculation. And kratom also has a longer half-life, so you don't necessarily have to take it on demand. So let's say you and your wife get frisky, let's say the latter half of the day. So maybe you can take it after lunch, and then it stays in your system the rest of the day. And then you're basically ready whenever. So you don't have to take it on demand, but you can also take it on demand. Maybe give it like 30 to 60 minutes for it to really kick in. And you don't, as I mentioned, you don't have to use it every single day. So maybe if you get frisky and get hanky-panky like twice a week, just take it twice a week, right? You don't have to take it every single day. So the less you take it, the less likely you are to get side effects. But try it out. If you get worse erections and your libido goes down, maybe try to find another compound. But I have found that for premature ejaculation or kratom really helps to take you off of the edge so you have more control over your ejaculation. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful. If you've ever tried it, let me know in the comments your experience with kratom. And if you have found another compound that works fantastic for you for premature ejaculation, also let me know in the comment below. And preferably natural, like I have used lidocaine. Obviously, the pharmaceutical stuff works amazing. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will check you in the next one. Cheers, guys.